And pivoting from the polar vortex there to politics now, Oklahoma Senator James Lankford had a meeting with President Donald Trump yesterday.
And we know talks about DACA legislation and the Succeed Act were on the table. So now we're joined by the senator himself to elaborate on what was discussed with our commander in chief. Good morning, Senator. Can you hear us?
I can hear you just perfect, and I was in that polar vortex yesterday, flew out late last night from D.C. Glad to be back in much warmer Oklahoma.
Well, good. We're glad you are safe and sound, and I want to get straight to it. We know this meeting was amid negotiations to reach a compromise on border security and the DACA program and what's going to happen to those dreamers. What was the main takeaway yesterday? Any breakthroughs reached?
There wasn't a set of breakthrough others than we realized we've got 5 different documents that are moving right now and 5 different sets of ideas. We've got to get a common set of ideas for what's going to happen in this particular area. We saw from multiple years ago when there was an attempt to do what was called comprehensive immigration reform. It's too large, it's bulky. It's been 20 years since there's been a major immigration reform, so everybody's trying to cram everything into it. We're trying to limit the scope and to say, let's deal with the DACA students, let's deal with the basics of border security, because if you don't deal with DACA and deal with border security, you're just going to have another DACA population 10 years from now. So we've got to deal with those two together and the things that are connected to it. And there are a few things that are connected to that. And then look forward to doing another immigration set of votes, hopefully in the next year as well. But let's start with just this limited focus.
Senator Maggie Carlo here. Can Washington come up with a solution by the March deadline?
Yes. Yeah, this has already been something that's been ongoing for a while. We actually started this in September, and there's been lots of ongoing meetings since September. I put out a proposal that's a DACA proposal to say this is a more conservative approach to how to deal with the DACA population, to make sure that they do have an opportunity not only to be able to stay and to work and go to school and have a productive life here, but if they want to be able to get on a path towards naturalization, they could also do that as well. And so we set that on that path. We knew that was a particular title to be able to go into a larger border security piece. There are other areas of that have been negotiated for the past 4 months. Now it's down to the final levels of, okay, we can't negotiate anymore. We've got to start settling this.
When it comes to border security, the wall was one of Trump's most adamant campaign promises, and it still is. It was discussed yesterday, I know, as well. And Trump even saying Democrats know that this wall is necessary. They just won't vote for it. Do you think we ever see that promise come to fruition? And if so, when?
It is such an odd conversation that's going on right now. If you go back to 2006, Chuck Schumer voted for the wall in 2006. We have 650 miles of wall right now already in existence on the southern border. That was voted for by Chuck Schumer in 2006. President Obama, when he was Senator Obama, voted for a wall on the southern border. This used to not be a partisan issue. Now that President Trump is talking about it, it's become this big partisan issue. The wall that's in sections of the southern border has reduced crime. You can go to all of your ICE agents, you can go all your Border Patrol, all the people that do law enforcement along the border. They will tell you where the sections of the wall are in populated areas. It has made a big difference in crime. Now, do we need a 2,000-mile wall? No, we don't need that. There's not populated areas everywhere along the border. There are lots of areas we just need technology, we need cameras, we need other things besides that big wall. But in high populated areas, we do. And when President Trump brought this up, he was basically saying, let's finish the project that was supposed to have been started in 2006. Let's get that done in those sections, and let's add the technology in other areas. So my hope is that the heat of it comes down and everyone realizes that this is not some big partisan issue, or it shouldn't be that way at least.
Senator, how have you felt the first year has gone under the Trump administration? And second piece of that question, what are your constituents telling you about their feelings about Trump's first year in office?
You know, it's been obviously very mixed. I have some folks that are ecstatic about the first year. I have some folks that hate everything about the first year. As interesting it is, if we go back to 8 years ago, I wasn't in politics at that time, but I do remember it obviously as in Oklahoma. We had the same reaction to President Obama. We had some folks that hated everything that he did and some folks that loved everything that he did. That's just the nature of it. The one common thing that I hear a lot is there are some people that really love the way that President Trump tweets, and there are some people that really hate it. And I get that. There are some people that just don't like that style of communication. I don't communicate the way that he does. I don't particularly care for that same style either. He does, and that's what America voted for. The tax bill, I would tell you, though, is going to be one of the signature issues that people will look at for a very long time. What we've seen in the tax bill is immediately companies have started hiring people. We've seen bonuses as recently as the last 48 hours. American Airlines employees in Oklahoma getting a $1,000 bonus, but also lots of small companies. My neighbor across the street is in a particularly small company, but they're now hiring a new person because they can. That's going to help lots of people in our area that don't have a job, that are looking for a job, and lots of people will see it starting in probably February when their checks go up a little bit because their taxes have gone down a little bit. That'll make a big difference.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing how this tax bill plays out. But back to what you were saying, kind of about Trump's personality, the tweeting. I read an interesting article in the Times this weekend just about how Trump really is an administration of one. He's setting the tone. He's making his own rules. He performs unlike any other president we have ever seen in office. How do you think this presidency shapes future candidates as well as elections?
Well, I think he's an anomaly in a lot of ways. There are a lot of people that come into that office in the past that are individuals that have a focus on a lot of different policy issues. He's an executive attitude. He comes in and says, I want to be able to be there at the final decision. Everyone work out the details, bring it to me. Even yesterday in our meeting on immigration, he had key aspects that he wanted to be able to go through and to be able to talk about. But as we got into the details and the rest of it, he said, you guys work that out and bring me back the final solution on it. That's not as big of an issue to me. That's a very different type personality to be able to have this executive level personality that says, work it out, bring it to me, let me make the final decision. But I've got other things that I've got to be able to work on in the meantime. But he does want to be engaged in everything. And that's a very, very unique personality.
Senator Lankford, we want to thank you for coming on the 9 a.m. show. You always make time for us, and we certainly appreciate it. Come back again soon.
No, glad to be able to do it. Good to see you all again.
You too.
You as well. Happy New Year.